Mr. Mulroney's spokesman, Luc Lavoie, made a statement about you.
Yes.
He said, KarlHeinz Schreiber is the biggest fucking liar the world has ever seen. That's what we believe.
Yes.
At the bottom of the page, his conclusions. 1, you're hurting for money. Were you hurting for money?
Me?
Yes.
I'm hurting for money?
Were you short of money?
No.
2, he is getting paid for his interviews. He let it slip that he made $40,000 in one interview.
Hang on for a second. Don't you think that this was related to Mr. Pelosi?
Pelosi?
Yeah, because it looks like this is all the things which were known about Mr. Pelosi. And I see here, ironically, killed Airbus in Canada with documents and discovery in particular.
No, I'll tell you why. Just hold on and I'll tell you why it's about you. If you look at the second last one, he fervently believes he will never be extradited. And the last one, he will only settle for some money from Luke. So he's definitely talking about you.
Yeah.
All right.
Then it makes no sense at all to me.
Did you get paid for an interview that you gave to one of the news? I know you've given many news interviews.
No.
Did you get paid $40,000 for one interview?
No, never, ever one nickel.
I see. K at tab 24. How did that come about?
Well, Mr. McKay indicated that finally Mr. Mulroney would do what he promised all the time, to help in my affairs. This was my expectation since the new government took over in February 2006. And it was a condition from my side with the CBC not to air the story which has done long before the election. If that story would have been out the day before the election, the Tories might not have gotten the few more votes to form a government. So I was pretty fair. So then still Mr. Mulroney didn't come up. And I expected that he would do now what he told me for all the years should be done, asking for an inquiry, clean up this horrible vendetta around us. You would think it's the right expectation from my side when the Tories took over that now the cleanup would appear as Mr. Harper promised in his speech 2005 in Quebec City to clean up whatever.
All right, so you had hoped that Mr. Mulroney would go to Mr. Harper somehow to influence Mr. Harper?
Well, I come to that when you speak about this letter. This was about a meeting which I was told is going to take place for a couple of days at Harrington Lake by the end of July or first part of August.
A meeting between whom?
Between Mr. Mulroney and his family, probably, and Mr. Harper and his family at Harrington Lake.
All right, so in advance of this meeting that you were told about, who told you about the meeting?
Elmer McKay.
In advance of the meeting, why did he send you this email?
It was a request, as I got told from Brian Mulroney, that he could do nothing in this whole case unless I would give a letter of comfort to him.
Who made the request?
Mr. Mulroney.
To whom? To you?
To Mr. McKay.
Not to you?
No, through Mr. McKay to me.
I see. And so Mr. Mulroney, to your knowledge, spoke to Mr. McKay and indicated that he needed a letter from you to go to see Mr. Harper.
Yes. After the story at the Fifth Estate, he wanted to be in a position to show that he is on good terms with me and that I'm not the enemy of the Tories.
I see. So what you did, first of all, the Fifth Estate show that aired in February, the one that we just talked about, you say was not supposed to air until after the election.
Exactly.
Because you were concerned about the Conservative Party and you were hoping they would win.
Yes.
And you thought that airing the show with your comments, KarlHeinz Schreiber's comments, may affect the Canadian election.
Exactly.
All right.
And let me add something to make it complete. Pretty short after the story, there was a huge, what can I say, request to reopen the Airbus case and the settlement with Mr. Mulroney from Mr. in the House raised, I think, from Mr. what's the name, Quincy, the brother from the Premier of Ontario.
Then answer me the question, why did Elmer MacKay send you this email?
Well, because I said, I saw something similar before, a while before, a request for a letter of comfort, and I said to Elmer MacKay, look, I'm not in a position to know, and I don't feel that way at the moment, how that letter should look. So if you would be so kind and send me a draft from what Mr. Mulroney wants, I'm going to consider it.
Well, you know, I've seen many letters that you've written. You are a letter writer. You would agree with that?
Yeah, once in a while.
Once in a while. Well, I've seen a number of them, maybe 40 or 50.
The most in my life I ever did in this case.
Yes. And you write your letters quite well, but you needed Elmer's help here, did you?
No, I wanted to have from him what exactly Mr. Mulroney wanted.
Okay. That's not in MacKay's email to you either, and talking about this justice scandal.
This became my letter.
Became your letter.
And this was what I recommended to be shown to the Prime Minister.
All right. You wanted the Prime Minister to know that there's a justice scandal going on here, and the Mounties are part of the scandal, and so are many others, right?
The Prime Minister was, even when he was with the Reformer, so much in favor of a public inquiry, though I thought it's better I remind him.
Sure. You told Mr. Reutenberg in your statement that all the letter is true with the exception of 3 points. 1 point being that you apologize. You didn't mean to do that, right?
What did I?
You told Mr. Reutenberg in his statement that he took from you at page 6, paragraph 2.
Page 6.
Of the statement. Don't go into the book.
Oh, I see.
If you could, I'll just read to you what you told Mr. Reutenberg at page 6 of your statement. You said, Schreiber, this is what you told Mr. Reutenberg. Schreiber stated that his letter to Mr. Mulroney was not merely a copy of the draft sent to him from Elmer MacKay. That's true. Yes, sir?
Yes.
According to Mr. Schreiber, only 3 statements were untrue in the letter.
Yes.
That he received a satisfactory explanation about the misunderstanding on Bearhead. That's the first thing. That's not true. Secondly, that Mr. Mulroney was the best advocate he could have retained. That's not true.
That's not true.
That's what you told Mr. Reutenberg. And the third thing that's not true is that you wish to apologize, but the rest of the letter was truthful and accurate. That's true. Okay.